Okay, now. So yesterday we have finished up to the last problem, that is we have calculated the safe load. Okay, so yesterday we have finished up to this problem. Now today we will move further for the next problem. Okay. So the next problem we will take at design a beam. This is problem number I think 4 now. 3 problems we have solved up till now. Now we will move to the next problem, and the next problem is problem number 4. Okay. So we will go to the next problem, problem number 4. So design a beam. I will write the problem, you also copy it down, then I will read it. Of effective span 6 meter to support a total working load a total working load of 12 kilonewton per meter of 12 kilonewton per meter include include sulfate of the beam include sulfate of the beam. Okay, so this load is including the sulfate of the beam. Stop. The width of beam the width of beam limited to the width of beam limited to 250 mm. Use M20 use M20 and Fe415 Fe415. Okay, so this is the given problem. Now we will read the problem once again. So here this is that of an design a beam of a effective span of 6 meter to support a total working load of 12 kilonewton per meter. Includes the sulfate of the beam. The width of the beam is limited to 250 mm. Use M20 grade of concrete and Fe415. So here we need to design the beam now. Okay, here they don't in the previous problem they told you that to calculate the safe load, and before that they told you to calculate the moment of resistance, or okay, these types of problems we have seen. See here, the find the flexural strength, safe load. Then before that also we have seen this problem here also. Here they what they have said, ultimate moment of resistance, depth of neutral axis. These types of problems we have seen. Now today we are going to see how to design this singly reinforced section. So design is very easy. So for that we need to follow the certain design steps, and then the problem is over within a no time. Okay, so now we will start to solve the problem. So here the given data you read carefully. They have told you to design the beam of effective span 6 meter. So effective span is given already, it is 6 meter, to support a total working load of 12 kilonewton per meter. So total working load is given 12 kilonewton per meter, including the sulfate of the beam. So there is no need to separately consider the sulfate of the beam. This load includes the sulfate of the beam. The width of sub beam is limited to 250 mm. So here the value of B is given to you. The value of B is, it is 250 mm. Then what is given else? FCK is given to you. FCK, the value of FCK is 20 Newton per mm square. Then here Fy is also given to you. The value of Fy is 415 Newton per mm square. After that, span is given to you. So L is equal to 6 meter, which is nothing but it is 6000 mm. Okay, and then load. Okay, working load is given to you. So W is given to you. Load, it is 12 kilonewton per meter. And now this told us to design the beam. Okay, so for designing the beam now, our first step, we need to assume certain ratio for the depth of the beam. Now as we are going to design the beam, so first of all we will assume something, width of support, certain width of support. So let us say the width of support is 230 mm. Okay, I will assume here, you can assume anything. So assume okay, width of support, width of support which is equal to 230 mm. So this value I have assumed, 230 mm is the width of the support. Now after this, depth calculation is your next thing, is the depth calculation. So here we will calculate the depth. So we will take L by D ratio as 10. Okay, so I will write here depth calculation. Depth calculation. Now see what L by D ratio we should take for the beam. So L by D ratio for the beam, we normally taken it is 10. Normally it is taken as 10. The L by D ratio for the beam is varies from 10 to 15. You can assume the value between 10 to 15. Sometimes we assume L by D ratio 10. Sometimes we assume L by D ratio 15. It doesn't make any much more difference. Okay, but if you assume L by D ratio 10, then you will get higher depth, which will be safe from the exam point of view. Your check will be safe. But whenever you are practically designing the beam, and that design you need to provide on the site, then in that case L by D ratio it must be taken as 15. Okay, so in our case we have taken L by D ratio as a 10. So I will put the value, I will take that D to this side and 10 to the left hand side. So what do we get therefore? The value of L. L is nothing but span. Span is what? It is 6000. Okay, divided by. I will shift this D to LHS. Sorry, shift this 10 to left hand side and this D to right hand side. So it is divided by 10, which is equal to what? D. So therefore, your D is equal to, what is the value of D? So D is equal to 600 mm. So we got the effective depth of the beam as 600 mm. Okay, from this relation. So now if we move further, we have to assume the clear cover to calculate the overall depth. Okay, so here you can do two ways. You can either directly assume the effective cover. If you directly assume effective cover as a 50 mm, your overall depth will be 600 plus 50, that is 650 mm. This is one thing. Or the another way is you assume first clear cover and bar diameter. Okay, if I, let us say if I assume the clear cover of 30 mm and if I assume a bar diameter for a beam, let us say it is 16 mm, then from that also we can calculate the overall depth. Okay, so we will go by our conventional method. Here I will assume, okay, assume clear cover. So clear cover which is equal to, so I will assume clear cover as 30 mm. Okay, for beam we take the cover usually in between 25 mm to 30 mm. For slab it is 15 mm. For beam from 25 to 30 mm we assume the cover. Sometimes we go for 35 mm also, depending upon the condition. So assume clear cover 30 mm and bar diameter, 16 mm. So this is what I have assumed right now. So what will be my overall depth then? So capital D is equal to, it is 600, that is effective depth, plus clear cover is 30, plus bar diameter is 16, so it is 16 by 2, half of bar diameter. So if you do this calculation, see this problem is not a solved problem, this is unsolved problem. So you have to do the calculation and you should tell me the answers right away. Okay, so now capital D. Capital D is 600 plus 30 plus 16 by 2. What is the answer? Let me know the answer.
638.
638. Okay, so the depth is 638 mm. So we round up this depth to 640 mm. Okay, we round up this depth to 640 mm. Now if we increase this depth, if we increase this overall depth, now see, actually for small d, value of small d, that is 600, we got the value of capital D as 638, but now we have increased this value to 640, so our effective depth is also going to increase if we increase the overall depth. Now calculate the actual effective depth, then D is equal to this 640 is your overall depth minus clear cover minus half of bar diameter. Now what is your D? What is your D now? So it is 602 mm I think. बरोबर आहे ना, 638 ला 600 तर 640 ला 602 येईल. Okay, so this is your small d. Now so we have got the size of the beam. So our size of the beam is, what is size? Now size of beam, it is equal to, so what is the width? Width it is 250 and depth it is 640. So our size of beam is 250 by 640 mm. This is the size of our beam. Okay, so in designing we need to calculate the dimensions. So here the size of the beam, and here in this problem also I want to tell you one thing specifically. Here the depth is given to you. Okay, here the depth is given to you, this depth 250 mm, this depth is given to you, but in some problems they may not give you the depth. Okay, they may not give you the depth. In that case also you need to assume the depth as 230 mm. Normally the width, sorry, they may not give you the width, not depth, width. Here the width is given as 250 mm, and if in the numerical if this width is not given to you, then you need to assume this width, and normally this width is assumed as a 230 mm. So assume the width as a 230 mm. Okay, if it is not given in the problem. So now this is our size of the beam. So here the first step is over, depth calculation. Here you have calculated the depth. Okay, here you have calculated the depth. So now next thing is we need to calculate the span. Okay, what is the span? So here the effective span is equal to 6 meter, which is directly given to you. Okay, so there is no need to go for the any clauses from the IS code. Otherwise, if you remember, for slab we are using the IS code to calculate the effective span, and we are using two clauses, that is center to center distance from between the supports, or uh, so length, that is span plus effective depth. Those two clauses are also applicable for the beam. Okay, same clause you need to use for the beam also, so that also you should keep in the mind. But here in our case, see, if you see the our case, they have directly given you the effective span. If you see over here, they have directly given you the effective span is 6 meter. They have not just told you the span is 6 meter, they have given you effective span. Okay, so we are going to take this value as it is. So the span of beam which is given to us is, I will write here, the effective span. Okay, the effective span, this is equal to what? It is equal to 6 meter, which is nothing but it is 6000 mm. Okay, so effective span is also given to us. Now after this we will go to the load calculation. Okay, after the calculation of effective span, we will go for the load calculation. So in the load calculations, we need to calculate the dead load on the of the beam and live load of the beam normally. Okay, but here in this problem, if you read the problem carefully, what they have given, they have told you the total working load of 12 kilonewton is acting. So imposed load is given to you, that is live load is given to you 12 kilonewton per meter, but it is including the self weight. So by adding the self weight itself, okay, they have added the self weight in this working load, and they have given you directly the total load. So the total working load is given to you, which is equal to nothing but live load plus dead load. So directly load is given to you, and that load is 12 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so here I will write total working load. Okay, total working load. So total working load, which is nothing but it is W, it is given to you, it is 12 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so this is total working load. So we will calculate factored load or ultimate load. So factored load. Okay, factored load, or we can call it as a ultimate load. Okay, ultimate load, which is equal to, so this working load, another word for working load is service load, or they may say that load at service. Load at service means it is also working load, remember this. So the factored load is equal to, it is 1.5 into 12. Do the calculation, let me know the value. 1.5 into 12, what is the answer?
18.
Eight,
1 8.
okay, 18. So the answer is 18 kilonewton. This is your factored load. Okay, now once we know the span, we know the load, then we must calculate bending moment. Okay, so to calculate the bending moment, further to calculate the, here I will write bending moment calculation. Bending moment calculation. Okay. So we need to calculate the bending moment now. So how to calculate the bending moment? So bending moment is equal to, we take WL square by 8. This is the maximum bending moment to which the beam can be designed. So here we will take the ultimate load, and here we will take the effective span. So this is equal to, what do you get? So WU is 18 into L effective is 6 square divided by 8. Do this calculation, let me know the value. 18 into 6 square divided by 8. What is the answer?
81.
Answer is, okay, 81.
81.
Okay, answer is 81 kilonewton meter. Okay, thank you. So this is the value for bending moment, 81 kilonewton meter. Okay, so we have got the value 81 kilonewton meter. Now, after the calculation of bending moment, you should remember every time we have to check the depth, whether the provided depth is sufficient or not. I think for 81 kilonewton this depth is more than sufficient, but still we need to take the check for depth. Okay, so the our next step is, after the calculation of bending moment, take the check for depth. So here I will write check for depth. We must take the check for depth. So to take the check for depth, what do? We equate the maximum bending moment to moment of resistance. So here we can equate our bending moment, equate the bending moment to moment of resistance. So what is the value of our bending moment? It is 81 kilonewton meter. So it is 81 into 10 raised to 6, that is in Newton mm. And what is the value of MR now? Let me know what is the grade of steel. The value of MR, the coefficient is depending upon what? Grade of steel. So what is our grade of steel now? Okay. What is the grade of steel? I have to see upward. Nobody is giving me the answer. Huh? So it is 415. So if the grade of steel is 415, what is the coefficient for moment of resistance? What should we take? 0.149, 0.138 or 0.133? So here the FCK square is the common term. So here the coefficient is 0.138 for Fe 415. Now just put the values here. So if you put the values, then 81 into 10 raised to 6 must be equal to 0.138. The value of FCK is, I think it is 20 now. FCK is 20. So the value of FCK, it is given as 20 multiplied by B. What is the width of the support? Sorry, not width of the support, width of the section. So B is 250. Slab मध्ये आपण इथं B 1000 घेत होतो बघा. If you remember, in the case of slab we are taking the width as 1000 because we are assuming 1 meter width and we are doing all the calculations for per meter width. That is why in the case of slab we were taking B as 1000 mm. But now in the case of beam, we know the cross section of the beam. Its width is 250 and its depth is 640. So here the value is 250 width multiplied by, this is the required depth. What is the D required? D square. So if you solve this, you will get the value of D required. What is the answer? Let me know the answer please fast.
Sir, 342.62.
342.62 mm.
62.
Okay, so this is the required depth, and what we have provided? We have provided 600. Okay, see here at the top 602 we have provided. We have calculated that depth from this calculation. Okay, L by D ratio is 10 we have taken. So here I have told you initially, sometimes L by D ratio can be also taken as 15. It varies from 10 to 15. Here if you take L by D ratio is 15, then your depth will be nearly equal to 400, and then your section will be economical because your required depth is 342 and you are providing 400. Okay, that can be also done at the start, but let it be, this problem is not wrong, still it is right. But the only thing is that our section is now uneconomical section. Okay, because we are providing the effective depth 602 mm, which is far more greater than the required depth 342. Clear? Now for our exam point of view it is okay. So D required, so here we can say that whatever D we have provided, so D provided is greater than D required. So our section is safe from the bending moment point of view consideration. So our section is safe. Now what will be our usual step after the calculation of bending moment? What we do normally after the calculation of bending moment and after taking the check for depth, if the check is satisfied, then we always go for steel calculation. So our next thing is steel calculation. So we should do here. I will write steel calculation. We need to calculate the AST. So steel calculation. Now in the steel calculation, we know the formula. I will write here AST is equal to what is the formula? 0.5 FCK BD whole divided by FY in bracket 1 minus under root, again 1 minus 4.6 mu whole divided by FCK BD square, and here complete this under root and complete this bracket. So this is the formula to calculate the area of the steel. Okay, so now calculate the area of steel, just put the values. So I will write over here AST is equal to 0.5 as it is, multiplied by FCK is 20, multiplied by B is 250, multiplied by D is 602, our depth divided by FY, F is 415, so it is 415 in bracket 1 minus here under root, what do we get? It is 4.6 into mu is our bending moment, it is 81 into 10 raised to 6. Okay, whole divided by FCK BD square. FCK is 20, B is 250 and D is 602 square. Okay, bracket complete. Now somebody please do this calculation quickly. Others please check the calculation and let me know the value of area of steel. Calculate this now. Tell me what is the area of steel. Do the fast calculation. The answers are not with me. You should check the answer. Somebody is telling me the answer. Others, please check the answer. That value is correct or wrong. Okay, accordingly we will do the corrections. Because as this is unsolved problem, I don't have the answers of this problem. So I am also solving along with you.
Sir,
What is the
392.9.
Okay, the answer is 392.
92.9.
0.9 mm square. This is the answer, 392.9 mm square. This is the answer. Here ब्रॅकेट मध्ये माझं एक लिहायचं राहिलंय बरं का, तुम्ही व्यवस्थित कॅल्क्युलेट करा. हिअर 1 मायनस अंडर रूट मध्ये 1 मायनस आहे, 1 मायनस 4.6 एमयू इथं माझ्याकडनं राहिलंय 1 मायनस लिहायचं. ओके, तुम्ही केले ना व्यवस्थित कॅल्क्युलेशन? Have you done this calculation correctly? Or anybody else who has done the calculation? Correctly केले का हे?
0.55 1 minus 0.55 0.45
Please do the corrections.
45
Here 1,
52 is 0.19.
then under root. Here 1 minus लिहायचं राहिलं. Good point, Rohit. So 1 minus,
Sir, correct आहे.
correct आहे का? Okay, so it is,
sir, correct आहे. Double.
okay, so 1 minus it is mu
correct
here divided by FCK. FCK is 20 into B is 250 and this is 602 square. 602 square. Okay. So this answer is correct. Others also please check it. So now we have assumed 16 mm bar diameter, right? So calculate number of bars now. We have 394.28. Somebody is telling me the answer 394.28. Okay. So 392, 394. It is okay now. Not much more difference. You can take 394 also, 392 also. Because this calculation is very big, while solving the bracket there may be change in the answer and that change is accepted, no problem. So number of bars, next we will calculate number of bars. So how many number of bars we are going to provide? So how do we calculate number of bars? So total area of steel, okay, total area of steel divided by area of single bar. It is pi by 4 into 16 square. We have assumed 16 mm bar diameter. Let us see how many number of bars we are getting over here. Let me know the number of bars. In point you tell me the answer. Afterwards we will round it up. What is the answer? Huh?
1.95.
1.95. So we can round this bar to two numbers, 2 bars. Okay. So instead of 16 mm, if you try for 12 mm, then how many number of bars we are getting? Just here, just for the same calculation, instead of 16, write here 12. Okay, do the roughly calculation. Let me know the number of bars. How many number of bars we are getting if we provide 12 mm bar diameter? Anybody?
3.47 येते sir. 12.
3.47. So 4 number of bars now. Okay. 4 number of bars are also easy to accommodate in the beam and 2 number of bars are also, there is no problem. Okay, let it be. We will go for with the 16 mm as we have assumed. So number of bars we are going to provide 2 bars. So now AST provided, calculate the area of steel which is provided. So AST provided. what area of steel we have providing? We are going to provide 2 bars, each of bar diameter 16 mm. So pi by 4 into 16 square. What is the answer?
Sir, 402.12.
402.12 mm square. Now this is the area of steel which we are going to provide, and this is the required area of steel. So provided area of steel is greater. So now for this area of steel, calculate the percentage of steel. Okay. Now calculate what is the percentage of steel. So we need to calculate the percentage of steel now. Okay. So see what is the percentage of steel. How to calculate the percentage of steel? So I will write here the formula. Percentage of steel we can calculate PT. Percentage of steel, it is 100 into AST. That is, you should take AST provided, whatever you are going to provide. 100 AST upon BD. So here if you put the value 100 into AST, area of steel, it is 402.12, and whole divided by, it is B into D. So the value of B is 250, that is our width, and our effective depth is 602. Okay, so from this you will get the percentage of steel. Let me know the value.
0.268.
Point 0.268 na?
268.
Okay, I will make 0.27%. Okay, so now here we have provided 2 bars of 16 mm diameter at the bottom, and also at the top we need to provide the anchor bars. So here I can write the statement provide how many bars? 2 bars of 12 mm. So I will write here provide 2 bars of 16 mm diameter at bottom. Okay, we are going to provide 2 bars of 16 mm diameter at bottom. Why at bottom? Because these bars are designed for this bending moment 81.06, and this bending moment we have calculated as considering beam is simply supported beam, and now for simply supported beam this bending moment, so the curvature of the bending moment is sagging. So sagging means tension is at bottom, and we always provide the steel to resist the tension. Okay, so tension is at bottom, that is why this steel we need to provide at bottom. Provide 2 bars of 16 mm diameter at bottom, but we have to, as per the codal provisions given in the earthquake code, we also need to provide the top bars to anchor the stirrups and to provide the ductility to the member. So here we will write provide provide 2 bars of 10 mm diameter at top. Okay, so what we have provided, आपण दोन 16 mm चे बार टाकलेले आहेत कुठं बॉटमला, त्या बीमच्या बॉटम मध्ये, आणि दोन 10 mm चे बार टाकलेले आहेत कुठं बीमच्या टॉपला. ओके, तर हे जे बार आहेत 16 mm चे, हे आपण डिझाईन केलेले आहेत फॉर द बेंडिंग मुवमेंट, फॉर द गिवन बेंडिंग मुवमेंट. बट हे जे बार आहेत 10 mm चे, हे आपण ऍज पर द कोडल प्रोव्हिजन ऑफ डक्टिलिटी टाकलेले आहेत. Okay, and so now, because in a real life there is no structure which is simply supported structure, even though if you assume that this beam is simply supported and you have calculated the bending moment as WL square by 8, but still at the end there's something bending moment will be generated at the end also. Okay, so to resist that bending moment we are providing the steel at top also. So these are throughout bars, 2 bars of 10 mm diameter. So now after this we have to take the check for shear force, and we need to take the check for deflection. Okay, so if I show you the diagram here now, for this why we are providing these two steel, I will just tell you with this simple diagram. Okay, so Here if I draw the line, okay, so now further, hmm, so now I will increase this. So this is now our beam, what we have assumed, simply supported beam, and this beam is carrying a UDL, okay, and the value of this UDL is 12 kilonewton per meter. No, sorry, we have multiplied this by 1.5. Now 18 kilonewton per meter, including the self weight. And what is the span? This span is 6 meter. They have given us in the problem. 6 meter is the span. So now, if we draw its bending moment profile, then generally, theoretically speaking, you always say that, sir, it is very simple. It is parabolic. This is the bending moment diagram. Okay, and you see that bending moment at the ends, the bending moment at the ends is 0, and here you will get the maximum ordinate, and this ordinate we have calculated it as a 81. Okay, theoretically it is okay, but practically what is happening, if you see the bending moment, then it is not like this. The bending moment of this beam is, it is in this way. If I draw the profile, it may be like this. Okay, okay, now so here if you see the actual bending moment diagram, then this bending moment diagram will be like this. This is the actual bending moment diagram. Okay, that at the end the bending moment is not 0. Here you will get some ordinate. Here you will get some values. Okay, here you will get some values. Here also. And this is your maximum bending moment, which we have taken this bending moment as this value. This is your maximum bending moment. But we have not considered this bending moment. If I highlight this portion, this part, we have not considered this bending moment. Okay. And if you see, these two bending moments are in opposite in nature. This bending moment is sagging, hogging. These two bending moments are opposite in nature. This is hogging. Okay, so hogging means what? Sagging means tension will be at bottom. Okay, sagging, and hogging means tension will be at top. So for this bending moment, the tension will generate at the top, at the end. Okay, so for that purpose, we are providing these two top extra bars. Okay, to resist this hogging movement, we are providing these two bars of 10 mm diameter, and this bending movement is very less, not much more. That is why these two anchored bars are sufficient to resist the moment. And if the section is quite large, then in addition to this, we need to provide top extra bars. Okay, but in our case our section is not such a large section or a girder beam. That is why these two bars of 10 mm diameter are sufficient in our case. Okay, so now after this we will take the check for shear. Okay, so the next thing is check for shear. We have to check that the shear force is what is the shear force and all these things. So check for shear. So check for shear. Just a moment. Here, check for shear. We should take the check for shear. So calculate the shear force now. So to calculate shear force, what we will do here, to calculate the shear force, I will write here shear force VU. So how do we calculate the shear force? Now here our case is, our beam is simply supported and carrying a UDL. So what is the value of shear force, that is support reaction? It is WL upon 2. Okay, so this is nothing but this is our shear force WL by 2. So take that value WL upon 2, whatever our load is there. So W, that is ultimate load, then L effective divided by 2. So the value of WL by 2 is, what is the value of W? It is 18. 18 into L effective, L is 6 divided by 2. Let me know the answer please. 54. Okay,
54.
so it is 54 kilonewton. So this is our shear force. So this shear force is present in the beam. 54 kilonewton shear force is there in the beam. Now we need to calculate what is the shear stress. Okay, which, what is the nominal shear stress, means what, the shear stress which is developed in the beam, that we need to calculate. So nominal shear stress, this already we have done this shear calculations in the case of slab also. Okay, so nominal shear stress, nominal shear stress, that is shear stress developed, that is tau v. Okay, which is equal to, how do we calculate that, it is vu upon vd. So put the value vu, it is 54 into 10 raised to 3, it is in kilonewton, divided by b is 250 and d is 602. So let me know the value tau v, what is the value? What is the answer? Point 30.
0.36. Sir,
Okay,
0.36.
it is
36.
35.
36 Newton per mm square or MPa, whatever may be the unit. So it is 0.36 Newton per mm square. I hope you know that conversion. 1 megapascal, 1 MPa is equal to 1 Newton per mm square. So instead of Newton per mm square, if I told you Newton per mm square and if I write the unit as MPa, then it is one and the same thing. Don't get confused. Okay. So now नॉमिनल शिअर स्ट्रेस इज 0.36. ह्याचा अर्थ काय की या बीम मध्ये जो तुमचा शिअर फोर्स आहे तो आहे 54 किलो न्यूटन आणि या बीम मध्ये जो शिअर स्ट्रेस डेव्हलप होतोय तो शिअर स्ट्रेस किती आहे 0.36 न्यूटन पर mm square. This is what is the understanding from these two values. Okay, so now calculate the percentage of steel at support. Okay, so percentage of steel at support, percentage of steel at support. Now percentage of steel at support, we always take half of the percentage of steel at center. Okay, in the case of slab also we are doing the same thing, we are taking the half percentage of steel except one way continuous slab. Okay, so here what is the percentage of steel we have calculated? Percentage of steel is 0.27%, so half of that we need to take. So here 0.27 divided by 2. What is the answer? 0.135.
135.
0.135%, म्हणजेच याला आपण म्हणू शकतो की 0.14%. Okay. Now calculate the allowable shear stress, that is tau c. Okay, calculate the allowable shear stress. हा तुम्ही जो shear stress काढला nominal shear stress tau v, it is developed in the beam. म्हणजे आता या बीम मध्ये या लोडिंग केसला एवढा shear stress आहे, पण अलावेबल किती आहे तो आपल्याला कॅल्क्युलेट करायचा आहे. म्हणजे आपण परमिट किती करू शकतो किंवा अलाउड किती करू शकतो. सो नाउ कॅल्क्युलेट अलावेबल शियर स्ट्रेस और परमिटेड शियर स्ट्रेस. ओके, so allowable shear stress, that is tau c. So we need to calculate this from IS code table number 19. So we will go to the IS code now. So here now we will go to the IS code. This is the IS code, and now we will go to the table number 19. I think it is on page number 72 or 73 somewhat. 73 here. Design shear strength. Okay. Here if you see design shear strength, this table we have used quite a many times now. So now what is our percentage of steel? 0.14% is our percentage of steel. And what is our grade of concrete? M20 is the grade of concrete. So if you see for 0.15% and less than or equal to 0.15, here the sign is given less than or equal to. For 0.15% or less than or 0.15%, the value is 0.28. So our value, it is 0.28. So remember this value, 0.28 is the allowable shear stress. Now if we go back again to our numerical, so the value is 0.28 Newton per mm square. Now here somewhat different procedure is there. बघा आतापर्यंत काय होत होतं, you have solved the slab problems now up till now. In the all the problems you are getting that this tau c value is greater than this tau v value. That in all the problems which we have solved up till now, here the allowable shear stress what you have calculated, that value is always greater than the nominal shear stress. What is the shear stress developed in that structure? But here that is not the case. So we are always directly writing that as our tau v is less than tau c, hence it is safe. So this is we are always writing in the case of slab. But now if you see here, the case is different now. It is not the case. Okay, so if you see, this is not the case now. Now our allowable value is less. म्हणजे बघा डेव्हलप किती व्हायला लागलाय, 0.36, पण मी अलाउड कुठपर्यंत करू शकतो, 0.28 पर्यंत. म्हणजे 0.28 च्या वर जो काही शिअर स्ट्रेस राहायला लागलाय अबाउ दिस 0.28 लेवल, that is our excessive shear stress, and we need to provide some reinforcement to resist that shear stress. I think I'm clear with this. Okay, so now see what is our next step now. So shear force, what we have calculated shear force, the total shear force is 54 kilonewton. Now we must calculate what is the shear force resisted by concrete. Okay, so the shear resisted by concrete, that we need to calculate. Shear resisted by concrete. So shear force resisted by concrete, it is known as VUC. ओके, 54 किलोन्यूटनचा जो शिअर फोर्स आहे हा डेव्हलप होत आहे, बरोबर आहे, हा तुमच्या बीमवर ऍक्ट होतोय, पण त्याच्यातला कॉन्क्रीट किती रेजिस्ट करतोय हे आपल्याला कॅल्क्युलेट करायचंय. ओके, सो व्हॉट इज द शिअर फोर्स रेजिस्टेड बाय द कॉन्क्रीट. नाउ सी, वी आर कॅल्क्युलेटिंग द फोर्स. द बेसिक फॉर्म्युला फॉर फोर्स इज नथिंग बट इट इज स्ट्रेस इनटू एरिया. So the what is the allowable shear stress, that is tau c into BD. So this tau c is nothing but your stress, that is allowable stress, maximum stress, and this BD, this term is nothing but your area. So again force is nothing but stress into area. So the shear resisted by concrete, VUC, shear resisted by concrete, it is equal to tau c. What is the value of tau c, that is stress 0.28 into B into D. So B is nothing but B is 250 and D is 602. So let me know the value. What is the shear resisted by the concrete?
So 42 kilonewton.
42 kilonewton. Okay, so now out of 54 kilonewton shear force, see here, what is the shear force? 54 kilonewton. So out of this 54 kilonewton shear force, 42 kilonewton is resisted by the concrete. Okay, so we will calculate what is the remaining shear force. So we will calculate that as a unbalanced shear force. Okay, so unbalanced shear, that is remaining shear, unbalanced shear, that is we calculate this as VUS, unbalanced shear force, which is equal to the total shear force VU minus shear resisted by concrete VUC. So which is equal to total shear force is 54 minus shear resisted by concrete is 42. So your unbalanced shear force VUS is equal to how much it is? 12 kilonewton.
12.
So now you may be cleared with the things. For this extra 12 kilonewton shear force, we need to design the shear reinforcement. That is, we should provide the stirrups for this shear force. Okay. So now after calculation of this unbalanced shear, provide, here you need to provide the stirrups. So I will write here provide two-legged. So I will write here two-legged provide two-legged, okay, 8 mm diameter stirrups. 8 mm diameter stirrups. Okay, stirrups means rings. तुम्ही ज्या कॉलम्स आणि बीम मध्ये बघता रिंग ज्या बारच्या बाजूला टाकलेल्या असतात, that is nothing but the stirrups. So two-legged stirrup we are going to provide. So now here we can calculate the spacing now. So the first we will calculate the area of stirrups. So area of stirrup. What is the area we are providing? Okay. So the area of stirrup, that is the notation for this is ASB, area of stirrup. So two-legged stirrups are there. That is 2 into area of the stirrups. It is pi by 4 into 8 square. 8 mm is the diameter. So what is the value of area? Area of stirrup. What is the area of stirrup?
Pi by
Do the calculation.
Sir,
So it
100.53.
is 100.53 mm square. Okay. This is nothing but the area of the stirrup. Now calculate the spacing of the stirrup. So we will go to next point, that is spacing. Okay, so to calculate the spacing, it is also calculated by three ways. So the notation for spacing, here the notation is SV, spacing of stirrups. SV notation is used for the spacing. So now the formula to calculate the spacing is SB is equal to 0.87 Fy, 0.87 Fy, ASV means area of stirrup, into D divided by VUS, that is unbalanced shear force. Okay, so now if you put all these values, then 0.87 as it is, Fy, the value of Fy is 415, then multiplied by ASV, area of stirrups, it is 100.53, multiplied by D, that is our effective depth, it is 602, whole divided by VUS, that is our unbalanced shear. किती होता आपला unbalanced shear? 12 kilonewton. So here 12 kilonewton, convert it into the Newton, 12 into 10 raised to 3. So if you solve this, you will get the spacing SV, which is equal to, what is the value?
One eight one four point 81,
1814.
sir. 14.
हाँ,
हाँ.
एवढी ती
0.81.
व्हॅल्यू. चेक करा, कॅल्क्युलेशन चेक करा.
हाँ.
Check once again the calculation.
Correct है sir.
करेक्ट
Hello.
आहे का? 0.87 into
Correct है
415
sir.
into 100.53 into 602. Answer divided by किती आहे? 12. Okay. So 1814.81 mm. Center to center. So this is the spacing which we have got from this formula for this what we can say for this beam. So now this is the first case. We can reduce the spacing now. So we will reduce 1800 mm center to center. So we have reduced the spacing. Now after this we will calculate the spacing by second thing. So the second formula to calculate the spacing is SV is equal to spacing of stirrups. SV is equal to 0.87 Fy ASV whole divided by 0.4 into B. 0.4 into B. So this is the second formula to calculate the spacing. So the spacing will be 0.87 into Fy is 415 into ASV 100.53 whole divided by 0.4 into B is 250. So now if you solve this, you will get the value of spacing. Let me know the answer.
Sir, 362.96.
362.96 mm. Okay, so we
90.
will round up this to 360 mm center to center. Okay, and last thing is spacing. In no case it should be taken as spacing is equal to 300 mm center to center. So we should choose the least value out of these three values. We must choose the least value. कमीत कमी व्हॅल्यू चूज करायची आपल्याला या तीन मधली. पहिला क्रायटेरिया आहे फर्स्ट इज दिस फॉर्म्युला. Okay, this formula is also given in the IS code. This formula is also given in the IS code. This is also given in the IS code. You may check page number, I think 68 or 65 something. In the range of 60 to 75, you will get this formula. Okay, I know this formula, that is why I have directly used. You can check this formula into the IS code also. These two formulas are there in the IS code. Even this thing is also specified in the IS code. So nothing is outside the IS code. So now from these three values, that is 1800, 360 and 300, what is the least value? So least value is 300. So we will write our conclusive statement here. Provide two-legged provide two-legged 10 mm or 8 mm. What is the diameter we have provided? 8 mm. So provide two-legged 8 mm So provide two-legged 8 mm diameter stirrups about 300 mm center to center. So this is the design of stirrup. Okay, this is the shear reinforcement design. सो स्लॅबच्या केसमध्ये आपण स्टिरप्स टाकत नाही, कारण आपला जो हा चेक आहे हा चेकच सेफ येते इथं टाऊवी आणि टाऊसी. आपला टाऊसी नेहमी ग्रेटर येतो त्या स्लॅबच्या केसमध्ये, त्यामुळं हे पुढचं कॅल्क्युलेशन आपल्याला काय करावं लागत नव्हतं. स्लॅब सेफ येत होता शिअर मध्ये. पण जर शिअर तुमचा सेफ आला नाही, इफ इट इज नॉट सेफ, इफ युअर नॉमिनल शिअर स्ट्रेस इज ग्रेटर दॅन अलाउएबल शिअर स्ट्रेस, then you have to provide the shear reinforcement, and these are the steps to provide the shear reinforcement. Okay, shear reinforcement means you always need to provide the stirrups. Always remember that to resist the bending moment, we provide the bars, we provide the steel. Okay, straight bars, that is 10 mm diameter, 8 mm, 12 mm, and so on. And to resist the shear force, we always provide the stirrups. Okay, so now after this provision of the stirrups, we will take the check for development length. Now last thing is the check for development length. Okay, we will take the check for development length. Okay, I think time is over. 11 वाजलेत का?